Yeah, this started off as a seed 7 years ago. It was, I had just come off of a PR tour and I had this incident that happened with my family where I got to thank my parents for they were immigrants coming from another country, and I just growing up with that sort of upbringing, I really appreciated all the sacrifices that they had made, and I pitched that to some friends and then my boss at the studio, and he was like, "That's the movie. Start on that," and that little seed kicked all this off. And it's been a long time, but it's been really gratifying getting it up to here. A lot of personal seeds, but also a lot of technical challenges too that really sort of took its time. But yeah, I can't believe we're here now. Yeah, like Joaquin's saying, there's so many moments in the life of a movie, and this one took so long, so that there are the ups and downs of it. Uh, are There's just a lot of undulation going on. The Boy, a high point. Um, Look, I mean, it's a movie that wasn't based on anything. It really was just, you know, a lot of these personal seeds from me and the crew that we sort of merged together. And could something come out of it? And trying to do a love story is difficult in these times. And so I remember building the reels, and I got lost, and I had personal loss. When my dad died, like I got lost. I didn't know where the story was, and I got a lot of help through that, as from the crew and from my executive producer. And I think one of the highlights was getting to that first audience preview when we were sort of sharing all the work that we had done for the first time. Again, I didn't know if the romance was going to work with an audience. I didn't know if the themes of these sort of cultural issues, or the sort of the first generation, second generation storylines were going to connect at all. And after that first audience preview, you could feel it in the audience that where they were emotional, the characters they were connecting to, and the themes and the storylines that they were connecting to. And I got very emotional over that. I think because of not only the personal stuff, but just because you have no idea. And then the whole point of these things, like I've talked to most of these guys about just like this want to just connect to an audience. Like I love how Troy put it about when an audience starts to connect to the themes that you're trying to find clarity with in yourself too. It's not like these themes are fully formed and there you go. You're discovering so much of it along the way. And I remember that screening being, really, really extremely cool. Yeah, I was thinking about this as Joaquin was talking. I mean, there's so many. I think, um, I think two things. At first, I thought the idea of finding language between the crew and you was uh, sort of an interesting game, because there was a lot of technology that we hadn't figured out yet to make fire and water characters, and so you were always, trying to connect and communicate in different ways, and trying to find that language was a lot of lessons. The second one was just objectivity is a currency, man. I had no idea how, doing a movie this long, your objectivity can wane and disappear. And when you've seen something over and over again, just hearing Dave talk about seeing Boy and the Heron 2,000 times, like I felt like I saw so many of these different moments over and over again, and you can go numb to it. And trying to build that toolbox where you can see something fresh, see something heartful, see something like it's for the first time, um, um, became a big game in the last like couple years. And those lessons I feel like I'm going to take with me for a long time. I'm terrified of misinformation. I'm really scared of how what is what is going to be real or unreal in our near future. And currently, so much of the game that I feel like in all of the movies that are up here, so much of it is just trying to find truth in our experiences, and trying to allow audiences to connect to those truths. But that hunt for the truth, can AI do that? Can, it's so much. There's a faith I have in the truth that leads me through all of this, or a faith in the idea of hunting for the truth. And
Yeah.
you know, hearing Troy talk about like, yeah, the Nimona, the blue sky shut down. My dad's shop was right near blue sky, and there were a lot of people friends that I had that were affected, and but that film still found a way because of its truths, because of what it holds, and I felt something similar. Elemental came out and didn't connect right away. It underperformed its first couple weekends, and then it grew, and an audience discovered it. And I can only assume that it was people connecting to the different truths that we were discovering in it. And so I'm I don't know if AI can, really discover it. I'm sure it can help us find truths to the experiences that we're trying to um, 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 showcase. So in that view, I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to hopefully it's a tool that'll allow more diverse stories, more layers to the onion skins of who we are, and also push the fun of what animation can be. And so, but all the films that are nominated all have this in common for me, is that they all are digging into something that we can all connect to. And uh, the idea of being nominated is sort of that recognition in my mind, and that I think that's what's cool. And I hope that that kind of tech keeps that going ahead versus some bullshit regurgitation of you know others past stuff. I mean, I'm with Joaquin. There's so many movies. I mean, that's such a tough question.
When
Uh,
the
uh,
first
uh, that I remember my grandmother yelling at me for watching Akira because, she grew up in a time where Japanese Korean relationships weren't that great. And so, like, I loved watching, I would borrow Akira all the time from Blockbuster Video. That's how old I am. And it created such a crazy response for me, my brother, and my family. This movie, and that opening moments when Kaneda and Tetsuo are riding through the city. Still to this day, there was like the soundtrack, the moving multiplane cameras of cities, weird laughing holographic Buddhas. It was amazing. It was that rah, like that soundtrack to it. Like
Yeah.
there was so many different layers of just, you could tell, oh, these are choices someone was making. Like it was so stylistic, it like pulled me out of just like, oh, a narrative. This was like filmmaking cinematic choices that were being done, as the trail lights of motorcycles going by that are hyper realistic. That movie was just still to this day just seminal in like, wow, these choices that were being made. And Miyazaki, that world of seeing an animator's or director's choices in animation was being realized, because the styles were so different, between Castle of Cagliostro and Akira and Robotech. All of that was just kept fueling the different types of choices people were making. Yeah, Elemental's been so much about vulnerability and empathy, and so you know, trying to either be that safe place for someone to be vulnerable, or allowing yourself to share in that empathy to connect to someone would be great, and I'd be grateful for that.